Welcome to the first episode of Convoluted Combos. Today I'm going to show you how to cook up a combo I like to call Infinite Sliver Damage. So let's get into it. The ingredients you'll need are Mana Sliver, Heart Sliver, Clot Sliver, Basil Sliver, Dormant Sliver, Plumonic Sliver, and Psionic Sliver. So we're just going to let those simmer for a little bit. And while you're waiting, just grab yourself a plate and a deck. Any deck will do. Preferably one that has enough cards to be a commander legal deck. I would suggest playing it not in modern, but in commander. In commander is good. So once you got this, you're just gonna maybe flip it a bit like that, and then just pile it on top. Ooh, oh, oh, the fumes. Okay, oh, okay. May have burnt it a bit there, but it should be good. It should be good. Always have ventilation. Next, what you're going to want to do is skim the top slivers into a bowl. So just pick up these top slivers, put them into a bowl here. Just let them cool for a bit. Should be good. Now we can move this pan out of the way since we no longer need it. Set it right over there. And we can take this, just plate, set it off to the side. We'll take our bowl here. Next, what you want to do is you want to put some of these slivers in play. So we will start out by putting Dormant Sliver in play. Put that card in play. Next, we will put Mana Sliver into play. These are still hot, so be careful not to touch them. Next, we'll put Heart Sliver to play. Just try and scoop it. If you mess this up, that's okay. It's not a very punishing cooking technique, but it does help to use some utensils. Next, we'll put Plumonic Sliver into play. Then we'll put in Basil Sliver into play, and we need to leave these two slivers back in our bowl if we want everything to work out properly. Now we are going to need our deck again. I'll explain how this works. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to play Clot Sliver. Now what's going to happen is that the Dormant Sliver trigger will go on the stack to let you draw a card. We're going to do stuff before we draw the card though. We are going to tap the Clot Sliver for mana, and we can do that because Mana Sliver lets us tap it for mana, and Heart Sliver lets us tap it immediately when we play it. Then what we're going to do is we're going to sacrifice the Clot Sliver, so we're going to put it into the trash. But it doesn't go to the trash because Plumonic Sliver says when it would go to the trash, we get to put it on top of our deck instead. So that's what we're going to do. And because we have tapped it and sacrificed it, we have one of any color mana we want, we'll say green mana, and 2 black mana. Then we're going to let the Dormant Sliver trigger resolve, and we're going to draw Clot Sliver again, and we'll put it back in our bowl. And now we are left with 1 green mana, and we are the same spot we were before. So we're going to spend the 2 black mana that we have floating to play the Clot Sliver. The Dormant Sliver trigger will go on the stack. Before we draw the card, we're going to tap the Clot Sliver for 1 green mana because of Mana Sliver enabled by Heart Sliver. Then we're going to sack it for 2 black mana. So now we have 1 green mana and 2 black mana. It will go into the graveyard. The Plumonic Sliver will put the card back on top of our deck. So now we have a Clot Sliver back on top of our deck, 1 green mana, 2 black mana, and the Dormant Sliver trigger on the stack. We're going to let the Dormant Sliver trigger resolve. We're going to redraw the Clot Sliver. Goes into our hand, and now we're in the same spot we were before, except we have 2 black mana and 1 green mana. We'll spend the 2 black mana to replay Clot Sliver. Same spot as before, now 1 green mana. So you repeat that infinite amount of times, and you get any color and all colors of mana that you want, and you've generated infinite mana. Now what you do, after you have all the infinite mana, is you take the Psionic Sliver and you play that. In response to the dormant trigger Sliver to have you draw a card, you're going to tap the Psionic Sliver, because Heart Sliver lets you use its ability right away, and the Psionic Sliver will deal 2 damage to one of your opponents, but it'll kill itself. When it kills itself, you're going to use Plumonic Sliver's ability to put it back on top of your deck. Ooh. And then you're going to let the Dormant Sliver trigger resolve and redraw the Psionic Sliver. Ooh, tricky to grasp sometimes. So it's going to go into your bowl. Then you are going to replay the Psionic Sliver. You're going to have a draw trigger go on the stack. You're going to tap it to deal damage. It's going to go back on top of your deck. It's going to go into your bowl, and you will just repeat that forever. And you can do that because you have infinite mana. And then all of your opponents will be dead, and we have created infinite Sliver damage. Delicious. Now, maybe you don't have all those ingredients that you need, so let's go over some substitutions. So, Heart Sliver can be substituted for things such as Temur Ascendancy, Firewake Sliver, or Reflex Sliver. Just any card that gives all your slivers haste will do. Manawef Sliver, it can be substituted for other cards such as Clipterlithrite, Gemhind Sliver, and Song of Freyalise. So long as it can let all your creatures tap for mana, you're good. And Clot Sliver, it can be substituted for any other sliver that is 2 black mana. Crypt Sliver is another sliver that costs 2 black mana, so long as you have any one of these combinations, you will be able to create the dish. For Psionic Sliver, you can substitute it for any other sliver that lets you deal damage or just some other way to win the game once you have infinite mana. Basil Sliver, Dormant Sliver, and Plumonic Sliver. Okay, so let's talk about these last 3. First, let's start off with Plumonic Sliver and Dormant Sliver. You can substitute both of these out for Sliver Queen. Sliver Queen, it's a sliver for all 5 colors of mana, and it has an ability that says you can pay 2 of any type of mana to create a 1/1 Sliver creature token. So the way the combo would work is you'd have Heart Sliver, Manawef Sliver, and Sliver Queen in play, and Basil Sliver. So all you would need is these 4 plus the Sliver Queen, and you would just spend 2 mana, create a Sliver token. Then what you would do is you would tap the Sliver token to get you a mana enabled by Heart Sliver. Then you'd sacrifice it to get 2 black mana, which you would then spend on the Sliver Queen's ability to get another sliver and repeat, and then you could get infinite mana and then create infinite Sliver tokens or do other crazy stuff like that. If you are using Sliver Queen, you can substitute Basil Sliver for Ashnod's Altar or other effects that let you sacrifice a creature for 2 mana. Well, I hope this cooking tutorial was informative for all of you and you'll be able to create the dish yourself. I really like it and I hope you do as well. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope you have a better understanding of the game.